Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for the PRL Round 9 contest for Tier 1. We are at Hungary today, at the Hungaroring, as we like to say, even though that's not actually the name for it. And we have 16 drivers out today. The key one amongst them being... Is he here today? I was looking for Morris.
No, I don't believe he is.
Wow, so our championship leader has not been able to make it today, it appears, which is, well, good for the standings. But just to run through, Jesse Force in second. Is he available? Yeah, he's currently in the garage in P5. So looking to make up the gap. But in the meantime, we have Suzuki, who won last time out at Canada, who is, on his outlap. And also welcome, I'd like to say, a big warm welcome to Dutch, who is commentating for the very first time. How's it going?
Good, my friend. Pleasure to be here. Hopefully I can give you some support out here, so you don't got to do it by yourself. Do what I can.
Yeah, I appreciate it, because my throat is not great today.
No, it's that time of year, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
In my case, the 1 degree's getting me. In your case, the minus 22, but...
Yeah, it's that wind chill here in Canada. It's not tolerable.
I'd just move. Just move to England.
Yeah, change the snow for rain.
Right, so Hungary, for those that don't know or are sort of new to F1, is a very technically difficult track. So it's really twisty, quite a thin track, very low traction, which is surprising because it is racing asphalt and it's not a street circuit, but very slippery, very slidey. And the key to success really is nailing your traction out of corners, such as this one here. Lots of hairpins, super easy to spin out, and you have to take quite wide lines like this, wide out, sharp in, early on the throttle. And yeah, I'm just on board with Suzuki. Let's follow his lap. Get a good sighter. So brake just before the 50, and then turns it right in. Just misses the inside curb. That is a massive fail if you hit that. So does really well there. And then this corner number 2 is extremely difficult. You have to kind of go in late and then turn the car in. That is perfection, to be honest, what you've just seen there. That is fantastic. And then really attacking the curbs now, so switching it up. This time you want to attack the curbs as much as possible with this really fast left-hander, which Suzuki does so, and is about probably a tenth away from completely destroying his car. That was really well saved. Through the sweeping right-hander, and then one of the most difficult sections here, this interesting chicane. You can't hit any of those inside curbs, you'll just bounce off the track. And then this snaking section of Sector 2, you have to keep the minimum speed without invalidating. It's super hard. I always find I understeer off every time. But Suzuki's in ridiculous form. I mean, this is looking very strong here.
Yeah,
and then it's Sector 3. Yeah, this is, I mean, it's all purple. It's the first car out, but this is just looking very fast. Into this sweeping left-hander. Again, very similar. You can see the technique's very similar. Lots of hairpins. So you're either normally very good or very bad at this sort of track. And across the line. Will he beat Timber with a 116? Yeah, absolutely. That is fantastic. Below a 116. Yeah. 115.8 for Suzuki. So Jesse Force is still in the pit. And Ramsey's on an outlap. Wow, but HT Index, so I've not even heard of, must be new, must have reserved up this week, has just gone fastest with a 115.4, so completely missed that one.
I believe he joined this week. I think this is his first race in the league.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, welcome. Yeah, welcome HT Index, and it looks like Williams, well, early signs are a little bit of domination.
I'll take it. As a Williams driver, we'll take it.
See, I need the Alphas to do well, but we'll see. Let's follow on board with Cheryl Shaft. We don't normally ride on board with him as much these days, but doing very well. Used to be a Tier 2 driver, and very much improved his pace recently.
Bronco had just posted a purple Section 1.
Okay.
Yeah, he's moving pretty good.
Yeah, you stay on board with Bronco, I'll stay with Cher, see how the Ferrari guys cope. A lot of traffic.
Yeah, a lot of traffic coming into the last couple turns here.
I'm interested because Cher's battery's at 33%. Is this an in-lap? Let me just follow on board, but this might be... Okay, let me switch to Bronco. And he's only 7 thousandths up. Cheryl Shaft is 3 tenths slower and his battery's depleted, so that's definitely an aborted lap. Gordsource, who I don't really talk about enough, he's absolutely smashing it. Really improved his pace since becoming the runner-up last season, just losing out to Jesper, who's down in P5. And I would say just my opinion, I would say Gourd Sauce is now the faster driver.
I would think so, yeah.
Mm.
Well, with Morris being out today too, gives Gourd Sauce a chance to get a couple points back for the championship lead today too.
Absolutely, completely agree.
Yeah. And the way Gourd drives, it means big opportunity for him. He's more than capable of bringing another one home, I'm sure.
Right, so it looks like everyone's completed their first phase. These are normally banker laps, so the times, just for those again that are a bit newer, they don't normally mean a lot. I would say these top 4 times, these are very, very good times. Very strong. The rest, I think, can be improved, but by this level of driver.
Absolutely. This tier's, you know, they're so quick, and any one of these guys can win on a weekly basis.
I'll just take a look at the constructors while I'm waiting, because I'm so out of touch at the moment. I mean, Alpine are leading with Morris and Jesse, so teammates completely tearing up the league. They're first and second, so quite far ahead. AlphaTauri in second, so that's Vapor and Demur, which is really impressive. But then Aston Martin in third. They are currently 187 points behind, so quite a big gap. But that's Bass and Tekka. Is Bass here today? Bass is not here today.
He's not, no.
Wow, so some of the big fast names aren't actually racing today. M-Fish as well, not present. So it's going to shake the championship up quite a lot, to be honest. Because you've got first, third, fourth, seventh, and I think ninth, all not available. And tons of reserves in.
Opportunity to make some moves in the standings.
Yeah, that's really odd. I wonder if there's a holiday in America or something. I assume there's no Canadian holiday.
No, not that I'm aware of, anyways.
Right, let's ride on board with our current leaders, provisionally. So HT Index and Suzuki, the Williams boys, just on their outlap now. I'm trying to clock their tyre temperatures. Yeah, keeping it in the high 80s. I assume they'll start pushing in a second. And I don't think any tier two drivers, have reserved up.
Today, I don't believe so. I could take a quick peek here, though.
Here we go. HT Intex on his hot lap. I'll follow him and Suzuki. Just looking at his temps, high 80s, but I want to warm this up slightly more. Really attacking the outside curb. That's very interesting. Slight snap of oversteer though. Has to back out a little bit. And straight back on the throttle, throwing it through the right-hander. Again, very aggressive on the curbs and has gone purple. It's very impressive that he's keeping the car this stable on the curbs. He's clearly got quite a high ride height. I'd like to see his setup. It's probably very different to mine.
Jasper just put up a purple sector 2.
Okay, we'll flick between him as well.
Last few turns here.
Interesting. Suzuki only going green. HT Intex 2 temps up almost. Gets caught out by some pretty late moving traffic, has to be said. But I don't think it's affected him, but sometimes that stuff can throw you off more than you realise.
Jasper just missed that, but he put up a hell of a lap though. 116.7.
HT Index, that's great. His car absolutely planted through the last corner. No movement at all. And a 115.2. Just goes even faster. Very impressive lap.
Very quick lap.
And Suzuki with a 115.3, so he did respond. But I think he messed up Sector 2 very, very slightly from what I saw. And Gourd Sauce, so we got a lot more action now. Although Gourd has invalidated. Hopefully that was earlier. Yeah, he's fine. So this is his hot lap now. He needs to gain 7 temps just over. That's a very tall order. We'll see what he can do. And you see the difference there. You know, driving, kind of taking more the line I take, so not quite so aggressive on the curbs, trying to maximize traction. But I think he's maintaining about the same speed as HT Intex, so he's doing something right there. A little bit tentative through the chicane, slight wheel on the grass. It's going to affect him through this section a little bit. Chooses to stay in 5th gear. The top 2 wheel in 4th gear there. Might affect his... yeah, slightly understeering. It's such a common problem around here. Has done well though. Apparently set a purple sector 2, but then of course has invalidated because all 4 wheels left the track on the exit and the game did spot that. But yeah, understeer is a really key issue around here.
Innes currently just put up a purple sector 1 himself.
Okay. Yeah, we've sort of forgotten about him, but Innes is very rapid on his day.
Very.
Yeah, shifts down to 4th to get the understeer issue sorted, or attempt to, and then straight back up through the gears. And down to 6th again. He won't have wanted that, but apparently a purple sector 2. But it's his first lap, so I think the game's a bit confused. We'll see. Very much a rotation-based driver, likes to shift down the gears and throw it into corners. Yeah, 1:16.4. It's a good banker lap. Very rapid. Jesse has invalidated. Right, give me 2 seconds. I need to check my laptop because I've not even looked at any of the comments, to be fair. I'm being rubbish.
No worries, man.
Yeah, Suzuki, we caught your massive swap in turn 4, I believe. Or at least I caught one of them. And yeah, good to be back, Aiden. I hear you won your race last week, which is cool. Oop, Cher apparently left the track. I can see the stream a few seconds back on my laptop and I just see Cher off the track. No idea what happened. Right, yeah, let's follow on. Sorry for cutting you off there. Let's follow back on with Ramsey. Definitely one of the more underrated drivers, I would say. Often quite negative about his driving, but it's very quick. I mean, he's in P4 and he's barely played the game recently. In the Mercedes, reserving up this time. So he's currently doing what I do. He's warming the tyres up through the brakes. So if you look at his left foot, very strong braking with throttle at the same time. Just delicately placing the car, balancing the car, and warming up the tyres. So he's got his tyre temps to 94, which is a much nicer place to be. And then he's going to launch. Took I'd say slightly too shallow a line though, prepping for his hot lap. But this could be really good. Let's see.
Just taking a peek here, looking at the last time we raced here. I do believe Victor, who's not with us today, and he actually won the race, got the quickest lap, and Jesse was a well done second. And Femi won the tier 1 race, and the fastest lap. Cher finished third.
Yeah, that's really good insight, and that's the thing, you know, Cher and Femi are fantastic drivers. But since consolidating Premier and Tier 1, you know, it's become such a hard place to race. And it just goes to show how good the pace is when drivers like Femi and Cher are now sitting in 9th and 12th. And actually, Cher has retired. Has he binned the car? I don't know, but he's out. In the meantime, though, I'm on board with Ramsey. He is pinging it around these corners. I think he's on course for 3rd, the way it's going. So it's looking pretty good. His Sector 1 was very fast. He actually went the quickest of all. That was so good on the exit there. 1:15.8, yeah, puts him into 3rd.
Really good lap.
But there is a gap between the top 2 and 3rd, but that is an amazing lap. I wonder what he's got left. He could probably, if he rushes, he could pit, box, and just make it out, but it's going to be a massive rush for him. Gord Source, meanwhile, has invalidated, so I assume he will now go into the box, put on a fresh set and try again, or is this his hot lap? He's going for it. Oh, that was close. He almost lost the back end there. Slightly cooler tyres as well. Oh, will he save it? Yeah, he did the right thing. He straightened the car up, so he hit the front wing. If he hadn't straightened his car, his left axle would have broken and snapped off. So yeah, drivers now towards the end of the session really pushing, seeing that there's quite big times to make up and just slightly overdoing it. But as I said at the start, this track's all about traction out of twisting corners, and it's really hard.
Being overcast too, the track's probably not that warm.
Be even more slippery. Do you know the forecast for the race?
Actually, no, I do not.
I'll put a message out in a second and find out. Because it does look really bad out there. It looks like it could rain.
It does look like it. It's definitely overcast.
Jesper yellow in sector 2. No, that's actually yellow. If I take it back, he's gone green. Yeah, dancing the car around sector 2. Apparently goes purple, but I'm not. Again, I think that's a glitch with the game.
Yeah, this game likes to play tricks on you for sure.
You kind of get a feel for it in the end.
Yeah.
Really good by Jesper.
To pay attention to.
1:16.8. He's in 10th. But that was a nice lap. Yeah, these are good times. And HT Intex and Suzuki are on their outlaps. And if I'm not mistaken, they're going to make it in time. So it's going to be a shootout between the two Williams boys for pole position. No one else is, I don't think, going to come close. Ramsey, Gorsos in the pit. They've aborted. Jesse retired. Innes and Demir and the like. I think they're just a little bit too slow today. But for some reason, this Williams car is absolutely dialed in.
I might have to get in the Williams chat, see what kind of setup they got.
I think you should, and then share it with me.
Yeah.
Make sure you share that with me.
There you go. I'm not sure that you need the help, but maybe. You're quick enough as it is.
I'm not as quick as any of these lot. Right, Suzuki then versus HT Index, the shootout. You can see they're racing just amongst each other. Weirdly, has Suzuki forgot to enable his battery? I think he's messed up. He's not enabled his battery.
No, he's not.
Oh dear. Well, there's no point following him. The problem is he's going to actually potentially hold his team out up now, but he'll be at least a second down. I'm surprised he's not realised, unless he's going for a drafting tactic. I've never seen that before, ever. I've never seen a car fighting for pole forget to engage their battery. Poor guy. Yeah, he's got out of the way.
Yeah.
I think he's realised now.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Finally looked down and went, this isn't right.
Well, this is now a pointless lap for HT Index, but it's an interesting one, so he can just push. And yeah, he's invalidated. He was 8 thousandths up, so that's an improvement. So kind of scary, actually. A bit robotically scary how similar that lap time was. But yeah, nonetheless, HT Index is our qualifying pole position holder. He has spun it, though, on the exit. I hope he's not messed anyone's laps up, because he will probably, well, he could get a penalty for it, which would be a bit embarrassing. Anyway, I'll get off board with him now, because that's just a bit odd. But Bronco going around, see if he gets impeded here. Yeah, interesting. I think, well, HT Index will definitely have pole. Whether anything happens afterwards, we don't know. Suzuki in P2 in the Williams, and then Ramsey rounds off the top 3. Some very good driving. Feel free to take us through the order, Dutch.
Oh, right. As soon as it pops up, I'll be glad to.
Are you on PS4?
Yeah, 5.
Oh, right. You're on 5? Okay.
Oh, yeah. H Index getting pole position, followed by Suzuki. Ramsey in 3rd. Going through 4th, 5th, and 6th, we got Gord, Jesse, Innes, Justin in 7th, Luigi 8th, Bronco, Demir, Cher, Tim Gra, followed up by Jesper and Femi to close it off. Oh.
Yep, and then High Scrum P15 and
there
Rusty in 16th. Yep. There we go. That rounds off the grid.
Down.
No
Thank
worries
you,
at all. And just looking at the race director, just for the stewards, I'll just keep that on the screen for a few seconds. Cool. Well, thanks for tuning in. We'll be about 2 minutes, and then the feature race will begin. It's a 50% race distance event, so it'll involve normally 1 pit stop. Safety car on reduced, but I do envisage about 2 coming out. And as I said, it seems to be a shootout between the Williams racers, but can Gordsauce or Ramsey challenge? We will find out. Just looking at the chat, so to answer your question, Villeneuve, cool name, first of all. Secondly, some drivers, I believe, no-showed at the last minute. So normally the position would have been given to a reserve, such as yourself, but they said they could race and then they've no-showed. So it will be dealt with internally. But it's, yeah, don't think that you were left out. That's not the reason. And then, hi, Scrum, thank you for the information. Suzuki, yeah, we saw it straight away. I said it on the stream that you'd forgotten to enable your ERS. You've never done that before. Well, I've never seen it before. So, I don't know, get a glass of water or something. I don't know what to say. But you're in P2, it's fine. Hi, Luigi Sven. Again, amazing name. I assume you're Italian. If so, I hope so. It's a cool name. And yeah, we've noticed that it is your debut today. A couple of drivers, HT Index as well on his debut. And it's really good to have you on board. And yeah, good luck out there. I'll be honest, I completely forgot where you qualified. But I know it wasn't in the last 3 positions. So it can't have been that bad.
So just taking a look here at the starting grid, but tires they're all picking. Seems about top 10 are all going mediums. Shares the Lone Ranger the top 10. Sorry, it's 11th. You'll be on the hards today. It looks of it.
Okay, amazing. So, 5 lights. And they're off. Let's get the track sorted. And HT Index with a good start, but Ramsey powering through the German there, going around towards the outside of turn 1 against HT Index. And we have an Aston Martin almost off the track, I think pillaring into the Mercedes. But HT Index maintains the lead. Suzuki Ramsey still fighting out side by side towards the next corner here. Outside line can be beneficial here. Will Suzuki hang it around the outside? Yes, he does. Fantastic defending. Maintains P2. In the meantime, we have Gord Source all the way in 5th now, not having an ideal start. And he's got Luigi all the way up into 6th for company. So a very clean race start by these guys. Really impressive stuff.
I unfortunately think my game's glitched. I'm stuck in the race director.
Ah, no worries. If you leave, I'll invite you back. All good.
Okay, I might have to. Yeah,
you're absolutely fine.
EA at it again.
A very clean race start. Not too many overtakes around here. Hungary, a very tough track to overtake around, so it doesn't really lend itself towards racing. Maybe not the right thing to say at the start of the race, but it is tough around here to make moves. The race starts are super important, so Gortos will not be happy dropping a place. Having said that, I think P5 is still pretty good. And Suzuki is holding very close to HT Index. I would say this is enough pace to make the move done from lap 3, which is when DRS is enabled, the drag reduction system, which is the flap behind the rear wing that opens up after the bold white lines. For example, it will be open now. Yeah, doing really well in the dirty air of HT Index as well. Doesn't seem phased at all. I think HT Index just struggling to warm his tyres up. Maybe his setup slightly too qualifying focused. We'll find out. But Suzuki looking very promising early on. Gordsource as well maintaining behind Jesse Force really well. Otherwise, there's a little gap to Bronco. And not too many moves at the moment. Biggest loser being Innes 4 all the way down to 14th. In a little bit of his own battle at the moment. May have had a little spin. I don't like to focus too much on those. It's nice and tight at the front. But looks like some contact perhaps between Tim Grit and Demur as well. But very weirdly spaced out between all of them, the back three. So they'll be hoping for a safety car. And we are now approaching lap 3. So DRS is about to get enabled. So let's follow on board with Suzuki. I think he's just about close enough to make the move after the first corner. The question is, as teammates, do they fight here? Because, well, to take each other out would be interesting. Down the inside goes Suzuki. Fighting around the outside, a very, very difficult spot to make the move. And yet HT Intex yields the spot, does not want to cause any impact. And Suzuki is your race winner right now. Ramsey dropping back out of DRS range, so he is very likely in trouble here. Jesse Force will be loving this. Just gone purple in Sector 1, Jesse, so he's pushing on. And I'd expect a move attempt to be made pretty soon. I'm just going to invite Dutch back in the meantime. And unless I miss something here, HT Intex in first. So as soon as I invite someone, something happens. Suzuki into second. Unless I'm going crazy there. They have switched back. So let's see what happens this time. But they're clearly fighting. And it's allowed Ramsey back in. So yeah, I think the moment I pressed pause, something happened. Which is about right for my life. So here we go. Let's go and see how Ramsey will fare in the background. But I think Suzuki's the one that's going to potentially go for it here. Or will he hold off? It's quite a difficult challenge. You know, you've got to maintain your battery as well. And your tyre wear. Yeah. Not quite having enough traction to make the move. Maybe just happy to stay in the train with HT Index for now. I mean, some very good points for Williams. And Ramsey already dropping back out of the DRS range. So I think he was spared for only one lap. I'm going to stay on board, though, because this is a fantastic fight with the top two. Just looking further down the grid. Cheryl Schacht all over the back of Heitskram. We might switch to that in a second. And Gordsource still fighting with Jesse. So some really, really good battles through the field. It's going to be quite a strategy-focused race. When will you pit? What tyres will you go on? These are the things that will decide this race. A little bit of lag, I hope. Although HT Intex definitely ran wide there. And Suzuki's gained a 10th almost. Look how much curb these drivers are taking. Very impressive. Yeah, Suzuki just a little bit slow out of that corner. You need to be as close as possible. It's tough, though, in the dirty air. But I think the gap's too big this lap. Half a second down. Gordsource, though, looking very promising. This could be a good move here. Will he go inside or outside? Jesse's left both options open. So Gordsource dummies the move. Doesn't even choose to commit at all. And is he going to try and go around the outside here? Let's find out. I think slightly misplayed on the brakes, but it was a really good idea. And maintains 5th, doesn't quite get the move done. And Suzuki doesn't quite get past HT Intax. So all positions staying the same for now. Lap 5 of 35. And this, of course, is round 9 in Tier 1 for the Performance Racing League. Femi as well fighting in P11, trying to secure that final top 10 position. All points do score, but it's an exponential change, so you want to finish as high as possible. 50 points for a race win. I believe 43 for P2. But it's so hard to overtake around this track. As I said in quali, it's very slippery, it's very thin. With the dirty air that come in front, you feel like you're driving on ice. And it's very hard to overtake with all those constraints. It normally requires driver error from the car in front. Ramsey all over the back of Suzuki now, though. What's happened here? Suzuki disconnected. Oh, no. I think Suzuki has disconnected out of the lobby. Something has gone very wrong for Suzuki. That is a shame. Perhaps his internet... It's quite rare nowadays to have issues like that in the league, but yeah, that is very unfortunate. I think he will struggle to recover from that. I hope he can reconnect. Not ideal. In the meantime, of course, as I switch to that, Femi got the move done on Rusty, so apologies for missing the overtake. But Femi up into P10, and I expect Suzuki to just slowly get swallowed up towards the back of the pack. I'll try and invite him just in case that's his issue. If I have him, yeah, I do. Good. Hopefully that helps, but, well, this really paves the way for HT Index to just control the pace. I don't think he's going to have to push too hard, if I'm being completely honest with you, at this stage. But great fighting between Ramsey and Jesse for P2. Jesse needs to use this opportunity to close back in with Morris, who can't make it today, for the championship itself. So the higher up Jesse can get, the better, for sure. Ramsey, a reserve, doesn't even need the points, but he just wants the pride. And he could 100% get a full-time seat if he wanted to. Luigi getting past Suzuki, ghosted, of course. The others will size them up. There's not really much point watching that. Femi pushing on from Rusty, which is nice to see. Bronco getting past Suzuki, of course. So yeah, the main fight now is for third place. Oh, big bit of understeer from Jesse. Had to back off there. And right, just to go through the current tyres. I mean, you should probably know most of them by now, but the top 9 all running on mediums. 10th through 12th on hards. So that bodes really well, in fact, for Femi, Rusty and Cher. All very tyre conscious drivers, so it does make sense. Innes in 13th on mediums won't be too happy. Tim got on fresh mediums because he had to pit, so very far back. The others on hard tyres. It's a tough call between the two. I mean, if you start on hards, it's very difficult to warm your tyres up, but towards the end of the race, on mediums, it's much better. I think I prefer to start on hards, personally. Anyway, let's go back to position changes. So as you can see, the big winners so far in the shape of Luigi, brand new to the league, up 3 places. Bronco as well up 3. Jesper making big moves and all over the back of Bronco. So this could be a net 7 gain here. I think he should dive down the inside. Or would he dummy? Yeah, dives down the inside. No need to mess around. And he should pick up DRS. No. Okay, that's good. I was going to say, just activated a bit late. And he has Bronco all over the back of him. But Semi defends it. Semi doesn't. And I think Bronco gets confused and backs off. To be fair to Ramsey and Jesse, they're maintaining the gap. I do think HT Index is just pacing himself, though. I don't think he's fully pushing. But the gap's staying at about 2 seconds. So he's doing everything he needs to do to win. Innes getting past Rusty. No, Rusty spun. He spun on the sweeping left-hander. We saw a lot of drivers almost do that in qualifying. I've spun there a few times. Quite a frustrating place to spin. His tyres will be extremely hot, 109, 110, so he may spin at any moment. He may need to pit, in fact. That's quite unfortunate for him. He's got to take it very easy to not spin out again. Jesse not quite close enough to Ramsey this time out, but he's just about staying in the DRS train. That's the main thing. And interestingly, I've only just noticed this Gord Source is still there in 4th. Kind of haven't spoken about him much, but he's doing really well. And he's conserving his battery in his car very nicely. So I think he's looking to make late moves. Let me try and get Dutch back in. 2 seconds. Innes pitting and serving a penalty, I believe. No, having a front wing change. So must have damaged his front wing through the final sector of this lap. And is now on a fresh set of soft tyres. Interesting. They will only last about 10 laps max, so he will have to pit again. In the meantime, back to Jesse in 3rd place. The battle for 2nd is on, but Ramsey has it quite reasonably handled, or well handled at the moment. and Luigi with a penalty for track limits. Not ideal, because he is in a fight with 2 drivers behind, so that drops him down to a net P7. Poor Suzuki, still disconnected. Let me check my phone. I've not heard anything. Perhaps his internet's just completely collapsed. What a shame. Right, Justin. Haven't spoken about him all session. In P9, just minding his own business, but he's now made his way back up towards 8, trying to claw back those 2 places that he has lost. Femi doing a great job on the hard tyres, it has to be said. Sticking in P8 on hard tyres, very impressive. And he should make up a lot of time at the back, so you could expect to see Femi fighting for maybe a top 6. And no safety car as well, which perhaps the drivers weren't quite accounting for. I'm just trying to look at the fuel levels. Well, Justin's +2. Oh, that was so close by Femi. That will be a track limits warning, but nothing more. To be fair, looking at it, it looks like the drivers have managed to fuel well. They're all positive +1. Which is good. Yeah, even HT Index, I expected him to be low on fuel going so quickly, but he's just absolutely dialed in around this track. And again, as I've said, it is so hard to overtake around here. You can be stuck behind drivers for the whole race, and it all comes down to the pit stops. You just have to pit at the exact right time. Get on the right tyres and warm them up quicker than your opponent. That is the main key to success when your pace is that close. H-Ins, of course, setting the fastest lap on those soft tyres. How long will they last, though? Suzuki DNFing. So it's clearly... I assume he's probably regained connection and just retired, because, of course, his race is pretty much over at this stage. Which is really unfortunate. But he knows he had the pace. He was on... I think he was on track to actually take first place. So very unfortunate for him. Cher versus Femi. These were ex-teammates last season, I believe, in the Aston Martin. I can't remember the team, but they were certainly teammates last time round. Let's see how they deal with each other now as opponents. You can hear that little TC sound kicking off from the Ferrari. Half a second down. They seem to have very similar setups. Don't think it's going to be quite enough. Fakes a little dive, and then widens the track, hoping that Femi messes up, and he does not at all. That was a great exit by Femi. So he's defended that one. Jesper needs to try and get past Luigi. I think he's being slightly held up. Luigi with a penalty as well. And as we approach lap 12, oh sorry, as we approach lap 13 I should say, I think the tyres are going to start to become an issue for the medium runners. So it's then a question of when do they pit. And this fight for second is really hotting up now. They are absolutely almost glued together. No mistakes being made. That's a great exit from Gord. This is the closest we've seen all race to an overtake, I think, for the top 4. He needs to dive, though. But if you mess this braking up even a little bit, you wipe the driver out. It's very tough. Tougher than it looks. Yeah, and Jesse tries the undercut on the exit, and it hasn't worked because Gordsaw essentially parked the car. So showing his age and experience, he knew to actually slow the car down to protect the position and not to speed up through the exit and allow Jesse the undercut. Some people call it the switcheroo. Call it whatever you'd like. and Cher getting past Femi on the exit. So Femi must have struggled for traction this time out, unlike the lap before. And Cher says thank you very much. Definitely the easiest way to get a move done is to try and dummy the driver through turn 1 and then exit out into turn 2. So some good overtaking this lap, which is nice to see. Femi with probably a second track limits, so he's probably one off, I'd imagine. Just misses the sausage, but he's a little bit out of shape. Hard tyres, 12 laps old, just need to try and keep them back in the temperature range. He's overcooked them very slightly. He's over 100, so they might start to slip. And yet he's already a second down, so he's going to have to back out, or he probably will spin, I'll be honest. A lot of high tyre temperature runners, to be fair. Rusty as well. So maybe the hard tyre is heating up, maybe the track warming. I mean, there's certainly blue skies now, so it seems like the track's warmer. Maybe their setup's slightly more geared towards a cooler track. And in the meantime, sorry, Jesper and Luigi, so desperate to get past is Jesper. He's going to have to go for the audacious round the outside move. You have to have so much confidence in your car to do that. And what a move. A fantastic move by Jesper into P5. But he's got Luigi fighting back. Surely not. Yeah, had to back out. That would have ended very badly for both. And Jesper takes P5 of the race. Good driving. Ramsey now 3.7 seconds behind your leader, HT Index, who is his first time here. So I think he's pretty much shocked the entire grid with his pace. I've actually never heard of HT Index. We need to find out what this guy's about, but he clearly has some pace. Innes versus Justin. Innes on the soft tyre, but as you're seeing here, you just physically can't overtake because the track is so thin. You have to just keep waiting and waiting and waiting, and your worst enemy is impatience. In theory, he should be able to get the move done in this right-hander if he gets the right traction. Is he going to dive? Tries to dummy it. Justin's too experienced for that though. So being held up all the way around Sector 3, nothing much he can do. And he should look to make the move very easily, almost before the exit of the corner, onto the main straight as we approach, or as we're now on lap 15 for these runners. And yeah, a very simple move, just showing the difference in grip levels between the soft and medium tyre at this stage. Very hard to defend. And still no safety cars, and we're almost halfway through the race. Snap oversteer for Jesse, but corrects it. Really pushing the battery and the engine. And Luigi just holding on to Jesper, but Jesper now 11 seconds off from Jesse, so the top 4 have absolutely broken away. That is essentially your lead pack at the moment. And we have someone in the box. It's your race leader, HT Index, going into the pits. I assume for a set of hards. So if Ramsey has any pace in his locker, he needs to unleash it in the next 2 laps. And is that a set of hard tyres? Yep, makes sense. So HT Index will run to the end on these hard tyres. And you've got Jesper and Luigi still fighting it out, but Jesper just maintaining position. Where does HT Index come out? He comes out side by side against Bronco. We almost missed that. That is not what Bronco or HT Index would like. HT Index just getting past, absolutely needed to do that. That's how you lose races, getting stuck behind slow cars when you come out of the pits on your fresh tyres. So fortunately for HT Index, he's been let off this time around, because you can easily lose 2 or 3 seconds just from that. Let's go back up to the top. So the top 3 separated by less than 2 seconds. But Ramsey just holding on at this stage. Now, will they choose to react and defend against HT Index, or will they choose to stay out? I think based on the fact HT Index only got held up for a split second, they might be better holding out for a lap. I just don't see a situation in which the overcut will work here. I think HT Index did the right thing with the undercut, and he's defended his lead. I mean, maybe he gets held up by Luigi, but I strongly doubt it. All over the back of Luigi with the fresh hard tyres and DRS and ERS. And this should be a simple move before the braking zone. Yeah, good move. It's a very well set up car. It's got just the right amount of straight line speed. Just hold on 2 seconds. I've just got to answer the door. Apologies. Right, we're back. Lap 18 now. And interestingly, Ramsey, Gord and Jesse have not boxed. I honestly thought I was going to miss the most important stage of the race, but we've just got back in time. They'll need to pit probably either this lap or they'll have to wait until about lap 24, 25 and try a soft stint. But I highly doubt it. I mean, look at HT Index. He's only 6 seconds off the top three. I'm a bit confused. Maybe I'll check the chat, but I'm a little bit confused by this strategy. I just don't see how the top three are going to compete at all with HT Index, because he's almost closed up to the top three and he's already pit. And pitting around Hungary costs you 21 seconds. So if you do 21 minus 6, he's essentially now 15 seconds in the lead. He was only 3 seconds up, so he's basically just gained 13 seconds. I mean, that's my very quick maths. But he's essentially net 13 seconds in the lead. So I can only imagine that Ramsey, Gordon, Jesse will have to now stay out and hope for a safety car. Or they pit on the soft tyre. I don't know. Maybe comment if you have any different ideas. But it's looking very difficult for the top three. As we do have a yellow flag in Sector 1. But... oh, hold on. Heitskran has DNF'd? What's happened? I don't know if he's done that on purpose or if the game's glitched out. I wonder if it will give a safety car for that. I don't actually know. No, his car's gone. It's pulled off to the side of the track. You could, I think, see it behind. Yeah, they've cleaned it up. Okay, interesting. Maybe a connection issue. Sorry. Gordsource pitting now on lap 20. Okay, what tyre is he putting on? Soft tyre. Okay, so the top three are going to have to pit on softs, as I kind of alluded to, and they're going to have to try and push against HT Index. HT Index, though, already passed turns into turn, I think, 4 now, as it's technically called. Interesting. Ramsey breaking the DRS of Jesse for, so I imagine Jesse will now pit this lap. But this race has become quite interesting. This is what I mean. People throwing the dice and trying different strategies because it's the only way to really overtake when you're against good drivers. Innis on 11 lap old softs is struggling against a hard tyre on 2 lap old length. So that's quite a worrying sign for the soft strategy. I will not lie to you there. Yeah, Yeah, interesting there. So Bronco in 9th on the fresh hard tyres. He'll easily make it to the end. Looks like medium hard might have been the right strategy call from what I've seen. As you can see, 6th through 9th all on that. Sorry, 7th and 9th in Jesper and Bronco on that strategy. Cher and Femi yet to pit, so they'll definitely go on the softs. But that's a much more normal strategy. Hard to soft is very normal. Medium to soft is not normal. At least that's my understanding. So Jesse also going onto the softs, of course, and they will run to the end. And let's see the delta then, the crucial delta as they come out. First of all, Gourdsauce versus Ramsey and Jesse. Who is going to come out in the lead? Well done to Gourdsauce. He has absolutely smashed it. He's undercut Ramsey. And look at this, Luigi as well, just getting in front, locking up massively with the rear left tyre. But gets past Ramsey, so Ramsey and Jesse Force leaving it a lap too late. Their tyres must have disintegrated, maybe sector 3 of the last lap. And they find themselves now in 4th and 5th, stuck behind a slow car in the form of Luigi on 20-lap old mediums. And Gourdsauce now pretty much solidifying P2 as it stands. And he has a 13-second deficit. So it's a couple of seconds less than I predicted, but it's going to be a very tall order. He's going to have to gain a second a lap. And I think the delta is not going to be a second a lap. But we'll see. We'll see what he can do. He'll certainly catch up. Ramsey now stuck behind Luigi. It's probably one of the most frustrating things that can happen to you as a racing driver, because when you're in this position, you do genuinely know to your core that you've now lost, and there's nothing you can do. It's really sad. You're stuck behind a driver for a whole lap. If you look at the gap now, 5 seconds, and that's it. That's how quickly your race could end. 5 seconds off Gourdsauce, so undercut by a very sneaky and cunning move by Gourdsauce, and then Ramsey and Jesse just getting stuck at the worst possible moment behind the slowest car on the track, and they're now 5 seconds off, and they'll be fighting for the podium. Justin, in the meantime, is just behind Timgra. Sorry to hear that, Hoaxgram. I just saw your comment. Yeah, I've tried to invite you, Dutch. I have no idea what's going on today. I think the lobby's really unstable because we've had a few issues. But don't worry about it. It's completely fine. It happens to me as well sometimes. Oh, good to see you again. And just in the background, Justin getting past Timgra on the fresh hard tyres into 11th. And Trudy McQueen, yeah, nice to meet you. Good to have you on board. And yeah, don't worry too much about it, Suzuki. You've got the pace. It's not your fault. It's the way it goes. At least it happened early on. Imagine if it happened at the end. So Jesse and Ramsey fighting it out for that final podium position. It's really now going to be down to this fight for third. Oh, in the meantime, sorry. Yeah, Jesper, of course, getting past Luigi. Luigi needs to pit. Okay, he's done so. Probably too late, I would say. But you know, it's first race and you've got to learn. It's tough. It's really tough to make these calls. Gourdsauce then pretty much in second. I don't see a world in which he quite gains the deficit. But to be fair to him, he's got 12 laps to go. He's brought the gap down from 13 seconds to 10. So he's kind of delta neutral at the moment. He's doing everything he can. I'd imagine if we follow his on board, he is pushing like mental around these corners, burning up all of the traction. Sorry, burning up all of the rubber. Sorry, possible. And his tyre temps are flawless, perfect 100s. So he's clearly dialed the car in, and this is looking good. Very good. What a performance by Gourdsauce. Again, this was a driver that wasn't even in the highest tier of racing last season. And he's bounced back well from losing out at the final race of the season last year. Well, last season, I should say. Jesse versus Ramsey. This will be all the way to the checkered flag. Expect some last-minute dives. Ramsey holding on though. A very, very good drive from Ramsey. He's been under pressure since the very first second of the race. He hasn't had honestly, I don't think he's had a single chance to breathe the whole race. Every lap he's been staring at his rearview mirrors. It's very tough mentally. Rusty versus Demur for 12th. Let's not forget the lower runners. And let's take a look at the winners and losers whilst we're on board. Gordsal's up 2 after the very smart undercut, mixed with a little bit of luck, with the slow car in the form of Luigi holding up Jesse and Ramsey. Ramsey maintaining 3rd. Jesse still up 1 place. Jesper, the big winner, up 8, but always super strong in race pace trim, and I think he didn't qualify too well. Bronco up 3, then Cher up 3 as well. Femi up 5, and then Innes, Justin and Dimit all losing out slightly. So quite balanced. No, to be honest, no real big losers, which is very rare. I mean, obviously, I'm ignoring Heiskred and Suzuki because they've DNF'd, but if you ignore that, it's been quite a stable race. And again, no safety cars, which is very rare. I want to say in PRL Tier 1, last race had 4 or 3, last race had 4, last race I think had 4, and we're currently on 0, so they'll be quite happy about that. I mean, the stewards will be happy. So In is trying to line up and move. Look at the penalties. Femi and Luigi, the only drivers with penalties. That's impressive, to be fair. In is opening up that DRS flap and activating ERS. That's the energy recovery system. And he is now diving in down the inside. Quite a straightforward move, but very good on the brakes as well. And Innes up into P9. Although it's Femi coming back. Femi, oh my word. I thought he was about to go for a crazy move. He backed out of it, thank goodness, because that was only ended one way. Good racing though. Kept Innes on his toes. Do you know what? Femi's actually maintaining pace with Innes. Oh, of course. Okay, so we got 4 lap old softs versus Innes. I missed that. I actually thought he was on hard tyres. So yeah, expect these two to fight it out quite a lot. The soft tyres should be slightly quicker, but I think Innes is a little bit more dialed in around the track at the moment. So the main questions are, can Gord Sauce maintain this ridiculous pace? Because he has closed the gap to 7 seconds. I still am not fully believing it's on, because these soft tyres drop off after 6 or 7 laps. And he still has 9 more laps to do. And I think he's very close to the peak of the soft tyre, almost binned it on the exit. It's very tough. I mean, he's done so well. He's done everything right in terms of pushing as hard as he can, trying to put HT Index under pressure. Again, I do have a sneaking suspicion that HT Index is just pacing himself. Because look, 1.4 seconds slower than his best. I doubt he is pushing the car at all. Jesse falling outside of DRS range. Okay, he was just within a second when the bold initial line was set. But he actually fell out of the 1 second gap. So this is a crucial lap for 3rd. Jesse needs to get a little move on. Just stays within 1 second again. And we are now on lap 27 of 35. Don't expect any more pit stops by any drivers unless there is a safety car. That would completely change the shape of this race. Bronco with some good late pace though. He's catching up to Jesper in P5 just in the background. Innes now getting past the Ferrari of Cheryl Shaft, but is Cher going to then dive back in? Decides against it. And Innes knew to expect that and will now sail away. So yeah, a slightly processional race end, it does have to be said. But again, without sounding too biased, it is Hungary. This is a good race by the Hungary standards. Let's say it's a very interesting race. So Jesse just staying within that 1 second window, but not really too much else to follow at the moment with 7 laps to go. Let me check the comments in the meantime. Femi catching up to Cher, so that could be a good battle for 9th. Cher's ghosted, you're saying? Okay. And yeah, Gord is gaining massively, but let me check Cher, because I don't believe he is ghosted. I'll be honest, let me check. Oh, he is. Okay. Yeah, well that explains it then. So it looks like many connection issues in this lobby, which is very rare. I think this is the most I've seen in probably years, actually. I think 3 or 4 drivers have had connectivity issues. I think only one of them regained. I mean, my co-commentator Dutch was DC'd and he's been messaging me. He just physically can't rejoin. It just refuses to let him in. So I don't know what's going on, but it's, well, yeah, clearly some sort of issue. Luigi now on fresh tyres, so this is where the tables turn. He's going to be the quickest, in theory, driver for the rest of the race. A little bit late pitting though, so he hasn't got too many laps to maximise it, but this should be a very simple move. Yeah, prime soft tyres against slightly worn hards, and makes the move, well, way before the braking zone. Jesse's staying ahead of Ramsey, but Ramsey's just... I swear Ramsey, every lap is exactly the same. He just will not make a mistake. It's so consistent. He doesn't even seem phased that he's had a driver behind him every lap of the race. Demur's actually caught up to Justin on mediums, so this is a good move, shaping up. Looks like the hard tyres then starting to wear off early. Either that or it's a coincidence, but a lot of moves from medium on hard runners. Justin will not be able to fight this one back, I don't believe, no. DRS was given to Demur anyway. So that is Demur into P11, nice move. Ramsey trying to break the toe slightly. Slight little weave on the main straight. But still 8 tenths, just keeping it very consistent. Seems to have slightly better traction. I think Ramsey might be running slightly higher downforce. Seems to be a lot more planted on the exit of corners. Justin Demur still fighting. This could go all the way to the end. We'll see. In theory, Demur should escape away. Yeah, just within a second. Oh, and interesting. Jesse's about to fall out of DRS range. So he's got to push like crazy for the rest of this lap. And for those that don't understand everything that's going on, so DRS, the drag reduction system, that activates only if you're within 1 second of the car in front. And if you don't have DRS, the gain, or loss of gain I should say, can amount to about half a second. So it kind of snowballs. If you lose DRS, it's very hard to get back into it, and he's fallen outside of it. So he will not get DRS. You'll see this in practice now. So notice that before he would finish this straight about 6 tenths down. So his front wing won't open now, and he's struggling for rear grip 1.2, 1.267, and this time by the braking zone 1.3. So he now has to make up 3 tenths, and he was struggling to not lose 3 tenths. So in theory now the next lap he should be 1.5 seconds down, and the next lap 1.8, and so on. It's pretty simple to understand once you sort of know the rules around everything. But long story short, if you fall out of that 1 second gap, it becomes excruciatingly hard to get back in. So he'll now be pushing way more than he wants to try and get back into that zone. And of course he's now risking spinning out. 5% battery as well, not in his favour. So all the cards falling to Ramsey for this P3, but I think he deserves it from what I've seen. Justin, your only other real fight at the moment. The rest kind of in a race of their own. Very unusual to have the cars this spaced out. You know, you're talking 3, 4, second gaps, 6-second gaps everywhere. Femi running in 9th, kind of on the alternative strategy. Doing well though. P9 is a very good result. Does have a penalty. Let's take a look. Only 3 seconds. So right now that would put Femi into P10, and Cher has been able to rejoin the session. So Cher currently will jump his ex-teammate into P9. Just got to hold on for 3 more laps. And Jesse, do you know what Jesse has? Oh. Okay, for a second I thought Ramsey had disconnected there, but Jesse's caught up, so he's clear. I don't know what he's done, whether he's just tweaked his setup or has Ramsey become a little bit lazy? Has he switched off a little bit? I don't know. Maybe it was a mistake, but either way, Jesse is suddenly back in the DRS range. Suddenly looking as close as he's ever been. Maybe Ramsey's tyres have fallen off. It's so. This is the thing. This track is so slippery, technical, that you don't normally know how drivers have done from the commentary position. You need to be on board with the cars and understand everything, which obviously we can't do. So it's so hard to say. For example, Ramsey's tyres could be 10% more worn than Jesse's, in which case you'd probably say Jesse will take the position. But yeah, so much of this race is about tyre management, and it depends if that's your style of racing or not. It doesn't really lend itself to exciting side-by-side racing, that's the only problem. A bit of... Oh no, that was a mistake by Ramsey. Massive, massive mistake. But what's happened here? Jesse not reacting in time to that mistake. Just needed to slow it down. If you slow down, you go faster there. But he unfortunately pushed Ramsey and, well, blew a very easy overtake, I have to say, if I'm being completely honest. That was a guaranteed move, but he remains in P4. He has 2 more laps. But Ramsey clearly struggling with the rear tyres, so we'll have to keep following. Yeah, Jesse already getting back into DRS range. I think Ramsey's burnt his tyres 2 laps or 3 laps too early. Not looking good for him now. And again, just shows how quickly the race can change. Innes doing the opposite. He's been fantastic on these tyres. He's been tearing up the entire field since he's pit. And he's looking on course for potentially a P6. If he can get past Bronco and push enough to within 3 seconds, he could get P6. But either way, P7 will be his current aim. Jesse now just making up bags of time through this very difficult Sector 2. You'll see if drivers are struggling because they'll understeer. You see Ramsey, he went too wide on the exit, which means he has no grip. Whereas Jesse's just glued to the track, so he's absolutely fine. Trail braking through this left-hander. And he now needs to size up this move. Ramsey with the wide defensive line, so maximising the exit speed. But will it be enough? Only 2 laps to go. So if Jesse doesn't get the move this time around, he only has 1 more realistic opportunity. And to be fair to Ramsey, without revealing too many details, in case of Comwatch, there is a slight battery difference. So the yellow indicator, that shows the percentage of battery. So for example, your race winner, AC Index, who's basically showing off, I'll be pretty blunt with you, he's on 100% battery. So he's not even using his battery, he's basically saying that he won the race about an hour ago, which to be honest he did. Gord Source with 44% battery is really conserving his battery, he's doing a great job. In the meantime, sorry, Innes does just get past Bronco down the inside, almost missed that one. But a great late move from Innes. Bronco could come back though. Again, very conservative his driving style Bronco is, and he's backed out. Not worth fighting with Innes, who's definitely in form. But another good example, Bronco 62% battery, barely pushing. Innes 17% battery, so he's been pushing like crazy. It really reflects the state of the race. But you look at Ramsey, the one thing going for him, 24% battery. I will reveal that now because it's the end. Jesse 22, so slightly higher on the battery, which means Ramsey should burn his battery now. You see it dropping down to 10%, 9%. Jesse just might not be able to get the move done. Is he going to dive? No. He's done well though, actually. He's done really well here. He's semi-faked Ramsey to the inside. And Ramsey's compromised here. Ramsey's massively compromised. Is Jesse going to dive down for 3rd? He is? Oh, the outside should have it though. Let's see how they fare. Hopefully no contact. Contact onto the outside. Jesse forced wide, but Ramsey was within his rights to do so. Still going down the inside. Oh, this is going to be tight for the stewards there. Jesse perhaps run Ramsey a little bit off the track. And we now have Ramsey having to concede position. Probably will go to the stewards at the end there because potentially Ramsey was pushed off the track. Very tight racing there, really good to see. And Jesse just making the most of the last lap battery life, pushing to the limit, braking super late. Did require a little bit of trust from Ramsey. I think if he turned in, they would have crashed. So I don't think Ramsey's going to be too happy, in all honesty. But anyway, let's follow HT Index around the final corner of the final lap. And new to PRL, new to Tier 1, but doesn't seem to be new to winning, and takes home a fantastic victory, almost 10 seconds ahead on almost full battery to Gord Sauce in P2. And then rounding off your podium is Jesse for now, but a fantastic battle on the last lap. Jesse absolutely going for it. Very good driving from Ramsey though, and did well to leave space and not get completely run off the track. P4 is a good result, held on for a long time. And then down to your sort of second round of runners. Jesper on a very different strategy and 23 seconds off, but fifth place is a great result. Luigi, again, a first-time runner with a penalty, so I think he'll drop down to 7th. Will Innes do it? Yeah, as I said earlier in the stream, Innes was 100% tuned in there. He was pushing for 6th, knew what he had to do. Pretty much a flawless drive from Innes, and he spun at the start. He had to change his wing. He could have won this race, I would say, with the pace he had. But P6 anyway is what he gets. Luigi P7 on his debut. That's a good result. The Ferraris of Bronco and Cher, 8th and 9th. That's not bad at all. Femi maybe slightly disappointed, but in 10th is not bad. And then sort of 11th down, I think, all had some issues, Demur and so on. But that is your PRL round 9 event race over. 35 laps and a very good ending. A difficult track. Driver of the day going to Jesper. That's not a bad shout. He made up, I think, 8 places, 9 places. So let's go through, the final classification and the stewards report, and then we'll move on. So HT Index, of course, winning the race. Very good lap times as well. 9 seconds ahead of Gord Sauce. Setting the fastest lap, though. On those soft tyres, pushed so hard, but unfortunately, as I said, the soft tyre just fell off, and he just couldn't quite keep up in the end. But a good result nonetheless. Jesse Force rounding off the podium for now in 3rd place. And then Ramsey just behind in 4th. So that was a good battle there between those two. Jesper 5th with a strong recovery. Innes 4th with maybe a driver of the day performance, actually. That was one of the best recovery drives I've seen in a very, very long time. Just finishing ahead of Luigi in 7th. Bronco 8th. Cher 9th. Femi 10th. Demur 11th. Timger 12th. Rusty in 13th. Justin in 14th. Heitzgran in 15th. DNFing due to internet connectivity issues. And Suzuki as well. Unfortunately, was in 2nd place, looking likely for a race win, but his internet denied him the opportunity. Timger through Justin as well, unfortunately well lapped, which is always frustrating. Okay, let's go to the race director, and I'll just quickly hop through the incidents just for the stewards to look back on. Not a lot of incidents at all. 34 is a crazy low number. So right. Stay tuned for the Tier 2 race, which I believe begins at past. Normally, it will be about half an hour away. We're a bit ahead of time, so 40 minutes away. And the Tier 2 race will start. I believe we have 2 commentators. I think it's Destroyer and I forget the other one, but there are 2 commentators. I think Jesper. But anyway, for now, I hope you enjoyed yourselves. We are back same time as well for Tier 1 next week. And your commentator today was Lucas Ode. Take care.